Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hello, everyone. Okay, so that was a little test drive there. Hi, this is Tammy Lee. Let me know, all you that are joining in, if you could actually hear the audio. And I was hoping you could see the video that I wanted to start out today with, Make Shift Happen. Let me know. Just go ahead and type your answers in the text chat, because I really wanted to play this beautiful music for you, this toning that I never knew I had within me. Never knew that. So as we gather today, there's yumminess in the air. There's yumminess in the air. Go ahead and just take a deep breath. Allow yourself to come back to center as you take that deep breath down into your heart. I literally have my home to myself right now. So I brought myself out into the dining room. However, I forgot to get myself some water, and I am already thirsty. I'm a bit parched. So go ahead and say hi. Let me know you're joining us. For those of you that are new to me, wherever you may be coming in from, and actually, I would really like to know where you're joining in from. I'm Tammy Lee. I am an intuitive accelerator on multidimensional levels, helping to guide people through their shadows, through the ups and downs of life, to help them awaken the depth of their soul, to awaken and to heal and to call back all those fragmented pieces I help to activate different properties within the land, to walk the land, talk with Mama Earth. She's here to help us to facilitate this growth that desires to happen within us so we can live the life we desire right here, right now. Does it take work? Yeah, it takes work, girls. Are we up to it? You better believe each and one of us are. If that's why you're here. That's why you're here, to assist yourself to come back to your sovereign self, to where that way no one has power over you. When you come back to that sovereign self of who you are, when you remember who you are and what you are, woman, you are powerful. You are needed. You are this image of the most pristine purity. You are that. You are that power. You are that purity. No matter what you've ever said, done, didn't do, didn't say, right now, this moment can be a fresh new start. We're here to walk beside you, walk in front of you, clear the path, walk behind you when you need it. Sometimes I even need a little kick in the booty. That's why I choose the mentors I choose. And I have one that's really helping me in the area of health. Because one thing I realized, because I've been doing a lot of energy medicine work with myself and with others, and there's more than one thing to rely on when we are here to grow ourselves, when we are here to heal ourselves. There's so much in the energetic world, but it's not just that. There's our emotional body that we work with. There's our mental body. There's our spiritual body, our etheric body, and our physical body. And all of that wants to come home. Our essence wants to shine bright within the physicality of who we are. And it slipped away from me in certain areas, especially physically. Sometimes things mentally play games with me. And I have this thing, well, I'll do it later. And then the later comes, and it's like, okay, I'll still get to that when it comes to taking care of my physicality. This incredible body that we have. And I slip up. I'm sure we all slip up in different areas of life. It is not about beating ourselves up. Even though we're really probably pretty good at that, right? So just take a deep breath. Last week, I gave you all something to do, and it was looking in the mirror and telling yourself how much you love yourself. Looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I love you, Tammy. Tammy, I love you. And repeat that. Put your name in there and repeat that to yourself. Repeat it at least 11 times, and you can feel the energy. You can feel that the shaking of the energy within you starting to drop in deeper and deeper and deeper, and start to shake off those things that no longer serve you. Now, as I shared with you on earlier, a couple days ago, when I posted this gathering today of makeshift happen, of how we can traverse through life when experiences of people sliming us, or maybe we've slimed somebody else. And because the energy is really strong and it's just getting stronger and stronger. And right now, so I live in a community of farmers. I even belong to a Facebook group of farmers' wives. We are farmers. We are we take care of the cattle and the land and the crops to the best of the ability that we have in the moment, and we're always striving to do better. And I mean our entire family. My grandchildren are the sixth generation, maybe even the seventh generation to live here, to be here on this land. So, how do we take care of ourselves when we get slimed? And what I mean by slimed, or like an energy attack, and attack's a really strong word, right? That's a really strong word. And I haven't felt attacked. I didn't even want to use that word because I always like I go inside and I'm like, is that how I felt? And I'm like, wow, that's a strong word to say you've been attacked, whether it's verbally or physically, even mentally, even energetically. And sometimes there are sometimes people are not aware of it, ourselves included, when we energetically attack somebody. So I really wanted, because I experienced this last week, I really wanted to bring this forth today of how can we really claim our accountability and our responsibility for how we are with ourselves and how we are in the world. And when we catch ourselves, how are we with ourselves? It's not about beating ourselves up. So last week I was making a comment on on a post in a Facebook group. And this, so I made a comment, like the post was really funny. And then somebody I know who is a mentor of mine said something in regards to the same post, but totally something different than what I said. But it was I don't even remember the comment, but I remember it like opening up my awareness to like, oh, well, I never thought about that part, like the actual message of it. Didn't think about that piece of it. And so I replied, something like, um, interesting or good comment. Thank you. And, but I didn't explain myself any further. Just said, you know, and then this one person, this woman just like came on there and she's just like, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, wow. Like, I had no idea. Like my saying thank you, good, maybe because I did not explain myself fully, that was part of her accusations. And there was more in there. And it really, and and then I said later on, after she like vented or like accused me of all these different things by that simple comment, I went back on there and I said, you misunderstood what I was saying. And then she started to come out with both barrels and said even more, and called me different names. And the one name, like I've never, ever, ever been called that in my life. But it made me stop and think, hey, yeah, did it hurt? Yeah, it did. I felt attacked. I felt belittled because she apparently is a very highly educated woman and she's a different color and different race. And I didn't know that. I'm all white and she's a mix of Black and Native American, from what I understand. And I'm thinking no big deal because I'm thinking I'm not racist. Like I've always been like open. I have we have a combination of different races within our family, within our grandchildren. I've always stuck up for the underdog as far as I know. Anyway, so during this whole process, as I am just sitting with all this, reading her messages as we're driving over to the sale barn because it's selling cattle that morning. And tears are dropping from my eyes and I'm looking out the window to the side so I don't let my husband, who's driving the truck with a trailer full of cattle on the back, and like, is there any kind of validity in the words she said? Looking through, when we can traverse through how people speak to us, if it like pokes us, if it triggers us, if it's like, wow, boom, 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 even though it felt like an attack, so this is what I do. I breathe into my heart space and I really concentrate on the breath within my heart, and the heart starts to open. Ladies, darlings, our heart is one of the most valuable resources, assets we have in this life. When we can come from our heart space, when we can come from our heart space, when we can be in our heart space, and we can take, like, just being there, just really living there, and we can take these things, like, let's just say these were little arrows, and I just took these arrows of what this woman said to me, threw at me, okay? What this woman threw at me, and I just like took them back into my heart space, into my heart space, into my heart space. Even the words like a narcissist, like, hmm. And then she said I was gaslighting her, and I'm like, I don't even understand that. What that means. Like I had to look up both. Like I hear these words and I hear these terms, but I don't understand them. And that's what prompted my Facebook post I put out last week. Because who I am is I always look for the silver lining. So as we are in our heart space and we can take these arrows and just bring them into our heart and let that energy of our love, of this pristine, like this essence of who we are, our spirit just like gobbles it up, like transmutes it back into original and divine love. When we can do it, and this is a practice, ladies, because I would have been probably maybe in a few years ago, I may have not honestly taken that breath and just, okay, Tammy, relax. This lady might be having a bad day. Like, not that I'm projecting that on her, but this is the way when somebody does an energy attack or slimes me, I don't throw it back at them. I transmute it. This is one thing, because I will tell you, More and more and more people are getting on edge. More and more higher frequencies of energy are coming to Mama Earth. There are solar flares that are going on, and this is high intense energy. Right now, I'm not saying I understand this all. This is, yes, how do I say this? I'm bringing forth information that I have heard from trusted sources. Trusted sources. Confirming major energies are coming in. They have been, they are, they will be, which is really putting other people on edge. Silver lining. Not only did I see a little bit of tidbit in what this woman brought forth, because I like moved all the, like I really could feel hate and anger in her words. But moving through all that, like, there might be a little point there. I'll have to look at that. I desire to look at that. There was like one piece in all that. They're like, okay. But also, as we were driving to the sale barn, allowing the emotion, not that I was taking on the energy of what her words said, I was allowing them to show me if there's anything that was mine. If there's anything, not even mine. Okay, let me rephrase that. I was allowing them, those words, to show me if anything was valid within what was said. Like, oh, okay. And one of the things this whole interaction showed me is that I still have like, because authority figure issue, work to do. Not much, but this woman put herself in a place of authority that, yeah, I know my nose is really itching. I don't know why. That she knew how to speak language better than I did. And I really wanted to understand this, so I didn't miss if there was a golden nugget in there. So I called upon somebody. I called upon somebody that I truly trust, and we discussed this whole thing. And what I also found out, that why it really sucked, is because I was socially profiled as a white person. And I'm like, wow, that's what that feels like. So I have grandkids that have been socially profiled. And I never really understood what that meant, because I see them all as equals. I've not been someplace where I've seen in person and felt the energy of being socially profiled. I hear about it. We see it on the news. We see it in, people writing about it. But to truly experience it and experience the ick of the energy of it and how much it can hurt, how much it can really hurt a soul, how much it can really just bring down the heart of that other being. I'm like, wow. So that's what it means. That's what it feels like to be socially profiled. Whoa. But it took that other person that I had reached out to help me to see that piece that was like totally not revealing itself to me. It was such an interesting hi Alice, nice to see you. It was such an interesting experience. It was such an interesting experience going through that. It bothered me. Like it really like I could feel all the work I was doing, the energetic work I was doing, like took me hours to really get to a place that I felt like it was cleared. So, and I bring this forth today so we can talk about this, so we can share about when we actually, without knowing in the moment, that we are sliming somebody with our energy, when we're actually even attacking somebody with their energy, or maybe we're just like want to vent about something. Like one of my daughters, my youngest daughter now, she got a little perturbed with me. So, and we have this great relationship. I have it with all my kids, all 5 of them. And I am building this kind of relationship with my grandchildren. Is when I do something that doesn't feel right, tell me that. So my youngest daughter, Tara, told me last week, Mom, you really upset me when I called you and I just wanted to vent and you were giving me advice. All I wanted to do is vent. I don't need your advice. Just let me vent. Because she knows I'm that safe place for her to vent without judgment, right? So I'm like, okay. So for me to learn that, you were real honest. I'm like, wow, did not know that I was doing that. So instead of her sliming me with her energy, because she could have, get off the phone like, oh, and complain about Mom under her breath, or even in person, bring it forth. Speak your truth. Speak your truth with somebody. So last night she calls me. She had a moment. She's like, Mom, I'm calling to, oh, let me regress a little bit. So when I was on the phone with her, I said, okay, Tara, the next time you call me and you need to just vent, preface the conversation like that. Because I was in this mindset. My child's calling me. She wants some advice, right? Nope, not always. So last night when she called me, she's like, hey, Mom, I'm calling the vent. I'm like, okay, so now I know the position to be. And then when she was done venting, then she asked, well, what do you think I should do, Mom? Is how many times do we literally give advice or give our point of view when it's not asked for? Have you ever stopped and thought about that? So in the United States, a lot of people celebrate Easter. Whatever the meaning is for them, whatever, and maybe there's another word in another religion that I don't know about, that people come together and celebrate. So here's a practice for everybody. As we gather, so like our family will get together on Sunday, it's Easter, and we're going to have a big dinner. And there'll be over 25 people here. And now I know to keep a little bit more like conscious, be a little bit more conscious of if I'm giving advice where advice is not really wanted. Because I can literally be sliming people with that energy, with the energy, even though I think I'm doing nothing wrong, nothing bad. But is my energy even wanted in that way? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Like, oh my gosh, I'm always giving advice, or I'm always saying, well, have you looked at it this way or that way? And sometimes people just want to vent, to move the energy. So sometimes instead of, okay, here it is. Sometimes instead of coming out of the mouth as advice, sometimes we just need to hold that sacred space. So my intention already is of holding sacred space for everyone that day. As people gather here on our farm, to be holding the sacred space. Not necessarily to give advice. Do you understand what I'm saying here? How many of you are resonating with this? Mm-hmm. And then the opportunity will come, possibly, when you'll be asked to give the advice. How many of us give advice without even being asked? And never realize that we may be sliming people with our energy by doing that. It's almost like putting your nose in somebody's business without putting your nose in somebody's business without being asked. Oh, yeah. So interesting, isn't it? How we, and I just like, I'm so grateful for my daughter to bring that to my awareness. I've heard that before, but now I experienced it. And what a great gift she gave me of helping me to realize I could be sliming other people with my advice when it's not been asked. When in my mind, I'm just thinking I'm putting in my 2 bits, but maybe my 2 bits isn't wanted in that conversation. So being in sacred space, holding sacred space within ourselves can actually, feel that, can actually help assist others to come forth in their truth, because they will feel safe, they will feel seen, they will feel heard. Most of all, they'll feel like they'll feel like they're not judged. Wow, I can speak my truth. So I got a message from a lady. Well, actually, my other daughter, Crystal, sent me this message. I'm just going to look it up on my phone real quick. This morning. So it was pretty powerful. Even though this woman she got it from, this woman's is walking through some rough stuff right now in her life. So this is a friend and a former coworker of my oldest daughter, Crystal, who's a social worker. This woman sent this to my daughter to give me the message. Please pass my message on to your mama, if you would. Okay, let me start over. That's why I'm looking at you. Please pass my message on to your mama, if you would. It's almost not right that she's got such superpowers or super genes. Like mother, like daughter. Like mother, like daughter. What a great testament. Because I had another daughter, Crystal's younger sister, right below her. And you all that follow me on my personal Facebook saw that I posted a post about another daughter, Shanna, who was just named Nurse of the Year award at our local hospital. So she goes on to say, I saw your sis's award and had every intention of sending your mama a message telling her she sure knows how to grow. She sure knows how to grow them. It's extremely rare that I admire. So this woman is in her 40s for sure, maybe in her early 50s. And she goes on to say, it's extremely rare that I admire, respect, look up to one younger than me. I don't know what happened to you Gen Ys, but I'm glad I'll be smoking. Oh, yeah, she lost a child. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So anyway, so she sees this post that I did about my daughter Shanna. Crystal reaches out to her because Crystal has this uncanny ability, like her mama, to reach out to people when we don't know why. We just do, and it's just like perfect timing. It's magical. So that woman right there. So she was saying how her pixie dust had run out. And how when we, in that sacred space holding of who we are, we can even not just be in that, but when we reach out in that. Sometimes when we give advice, are we like here instead of here? Like, yeah, right? Right? Like, oh man, didn't think about that one either. Yeah. There's a lot of things going on right now. My son's going through something in regards to his business and one of his workers, and it's really stupid, but it has to do with the legal system. And it's not my son himself, but it's this worker now that is in the legal system and over something so stupid, so minute. So having that energy, so now my son maybe have to go to talk to the county attorney. That was our advice. Go talk to him. But be in this sacred space when you do. So when you walk in to talk to somebody, when you need to speak your truth, when you're in this space in your heart, because anger can rear up. Don't think I don't get that way because of how calm I'm saying this right now to you. I was joking with somebody last night. Oh, yeah, actually it was our tax accountant. Because I have one daughter that's known as the don't mess with her. And then I have another daughter. I have 4 girls and 1 boy. And I have another daughter that they think she's the quiet one. Well, she went into the tax account because he didn't do something right. And she's like, oh, don't think this. My sister is the one you need to be afraid of. I'm the one you need to be afraid of right now. And so, and why am I telling you this? I don't know. But see, okay, because we can have these different emotions that come up. And you can have righteous anger. Don't think you have to be all sweet and kind all the time. My kids know. Boom. I do my best not to raise my voice, but they know the strength that comes out of my voice. Because when you're in that sacred space and you need to make sure somebody knows that you mean business, the energy that will come through. And they'll know you don't have to scream. You don't have to raise your voice. When you want to get across a particular point of view, when you need to protect a boundary or let somebody know they crossed a boundary. But I always say to do this in person as much as possible or over the phone. Text messaging is, ugh. You never know how the person meant something. Writing a message, you never know how the person meant something if you're trying to get a point across. Yesterday, I knew I was going to have a talk with our tax accountant because the software is not working right. So a couple of my girls, their tax, what do you say? Their taxes have not been what's the word? Submitted. Okay. So first thing before I even give him my paperwork, went and sat down with him. I just addressed him. I'm like, hey, before you even start, do I need to go someplace else? And you know who I am, Toby. Do I need to take these someplace else, my taxes? Because of all the concerns my children now have of theirs not getting filed, of penalties coming due, possibly being enforced. Because he's got a deadline. And he reassured me that he is taking care of it. More than once. Because I looked at him in the eye and I'm like, you know who I am. And you know that I speak my truth. So before we even get started, I want to know, do I need to go someplace else? Well, no, Tammy. Are you kidding? Well, I even give you a good deal. I was like, I don't care about the good deal. I care about your integrity and your truth. So we can speak our truth from that, and we can have that force within us when we hold that sacred space. When we hold the sacred space within us, when we intend that, we can actually walk through life with that. And that is also meaning that we are walking in our sovereignness of who we are. Because then nothing, like, excuses can't penetrate us. Truth, we are welcome to. Lies, manipulations cannot penetrate us. Energy, attacks cannot penetrate us. Being slimed by somebody else's energy cannot penetrate us when we're in that sacred, when we're holding that sacred space within us. So I encourage everybody this weekend, as you gather, there's Easter, there's Mother's Day, there's Memorial Day. What? That's 6, 7 weeks away. It's gathering time. There's graduations coming up. I'm giving a keynote on May 15th in front of 140 people. First biggest crowd I've ever done that with. Am I nervous? Yeah, I'm nervous. Girl, I'm nervous. But I'm still going to do it. But I will also know to make sure I center myself within this sacred space of who I am, within my heart. And you can practice this. Like just sit in your intention. Even if you don't know well, I don't know what that feels like. I don't know if I'm doing it right. It's set your intention. Set your intention to be that. I am being sacred space today. Before you even get out of bed. Walk with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. But before we go, let me know if anybody's got any thoughts or comments that they'd like to share. Go ahead and type those in that text chat. Yeah. This way we're just more aware of who we are. And we're more aware of when somebody else, okay, here's another little story. So this just popped in. Sometimes we're not aware when somebody, like you can shake the hand of somebody and feel weird, but you don't know why you feel weird. And it wasn't, so this happened this past fall. A young lady I know, used to be one of my clients, has a boyfriend. Now this was back fall. I don't know if they're still together. And she was like, "Oh, hi, Tammy." And I'm like, "Oh, well, hi." And like, it was really good to see her. But I could tell something was really off. And she had this boyfriend. And he shook my hand. See, I'm the kind of person who tries to give the benefit of the doubt to everybody. And not everybody changes. And without going into too much detail, how do I say this without this boyfriend was, gosh, how do I say this? This is the same person that had one of my daughters carrying a gun in her car because of threats. And court cases. And this is the same person that that's actually what I should have said. I should have called I actually called the lawyer and said, okay, if this person comes on my land, because this is the mama bear that came out of me. What are my rights? Because I will shoot this. I will shoot him. And I probably shouldn't say that out loud on a video, but this one person, because he threatened my child more than once. And so I called my lawyer. I'm like, what are my rights? And my lawyer said right here, Tammy, he comes on your land. You have every right to, and you feel threatened. You have every right to shoot. Now, is that the way I want to handle something? No. Sometimes That might be the only way, though. Wow, I did not think I was going to say that out loud today. Okay, that's interesting. So see, that mama bear, that part of us that really can come forth. It's one thing to attack me. It's something completely different when you attack my child. I'm the same way with my friends. I'm the same way with my clients. I have this indelible mama bear protection mechanism, protection counterpart. Thank you. Better than the word mechanism. That will come alive when need be. So allow that part of yourself to live. Allow that part of yourself to be with you. I'm kind of amazed right now that I'm even sharing that story. If you can't tell by my pauses on a live video that people can see. But I got my lawyer's permission. Thank you. Okay, now it's time to go before I say any more. Thank you. Thank you. Please reach out. If you need anything, I'm here to help you, to assist you, guide you, walk with you, whatever it is you need. Much love, much love. Thank you so much for joining today. Until next time.